show. It's all about stepping into our creative flow. And today, stenciling in fine art. Here's a stenciling on fashion example, and there's the 4 kimonos that are representing the 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall, with 4 different kinds of botanicals and 4 different creatures. And I'm going to work on the 4 paintings that are stencil and fine art combinations. I'm going to work on that in front of you today. And when Bodhi comes out, so he can show those behind the camera now, we'll bring them over one by one onto the table. And what I love to do is enjoy the creative process, step into the adventure of it by not deciding more than I need to. He's getting the audio figured out. Shall I keep talking? So one at a time, I'm going to work on the 4 seasons, the 4 paintings. And what I like to do is have the artistic adventure of just trusting my instincts, going with the flow, not deciding more than I need to about what it's going to be. Let the art, the message, the story that the painting or the outfit or the home decor, whatever I'm using my creativity to explore, I like it to be an adventure for me. So some people like to plan it out. That's their process, good for them. I like to go someplace I've never been before with every creative expression I do. Try new things. I have a philosophy that if we learn from things, everything is a success. So there can't be any negativity, failures. If we're growing and we're learning, it doesn't matter if it turns out the way we thought we wanted it to turn out. If we start with a vision in mind, as long as we're learning, enjoying doing it, it's all good. And so there's plenty of challenges in life. So for me, creativity has been a safe place, a nurturing place, and that's why I want to share it with you. It helped me through tremendous adversity in my life to go into creative reverie and find a peaceful, restorative place. And I've kept it going my whole life because it is that for me, a peaceful, restorative place. And it can be that for all of us, any of us. We all have imaginations. It's a freedom no one else can take away. No circumstance can take away from us our imaginations. It's also a resource that we can solve the issues in our lives, in our relationships, in the world. So the more of us that have access to our imaginations and the confidence to express our creativity and the courage to share it with others, the better. The more likely we will collaboratively address the incredible challenges we have in the world now. But I believe in people. I believe in love and kindness. I chose as a very young child to be kind, honest, and awake. And I still believe in these principles, and it has empowered me, motivated me to do what I've done with my life, which is explore lots of forms of creativity. In future virtual visit live streams, we're going to start mixing in more sound and movement, as well as I've shared some of the words that I've written, some of the prose. So as this performance piece I'm working on now, inspired by nature, the 4 seasons, called The Essence of Everything, is a combining of visual art, sound, word, and music, and written word turned into spoken word, turned into chants, music, wherever it goes, we'll find out when I get there, that will then be what inspires the choreography. So it will be all of the arts, and especially because I'm so gifted to have a son, Bodhi, who is a movie maker, and asked me to collaborate with him, and we're named us Mother Son Productions. So he's going to be videotaping creating the set, creating the wardrobe, doing the spoken word based on the 4 seasons, turning it into music that then will inform the choreography, and by adding movie making to the mix, the medium that can combine all the other mediums, it will be a demonstration of how creativity can flow in any direction we choose. We do not need to let the fear and judgment, our own and others, dictate what we do. Do what makes you happy and share that with the world. So that's why I'm doing these, and I hope it's inspiring and motivating, empowering, informing others to do the same. The happier we are, the happier and more peaceful we are, the happier and more peaceful the world is. So it is not just for us. If we find what gives us joy and peace, it is for the world, and it makes it a safer and more enjoyable place. So let's each of us, especially women, speak up and share what you alone can share, your voice, your experiences, what you've learned through your experiences, and hopefully the joy and love that you have maintained through whatever you've been through. We're not what happens to us, we're what we do with it. And we can use it as fuel for art. And maybe that's why I have so much art in my life, because I've had a lot of fuel, a lot of adversity to turn into advantage, art. So let's get started with the art. Bo, are you ready to show the 4 seasons in my, while I'm working on them? Yep. Over here, the
are you going to go over there, or you just want me to
show it, and then I'm going to take one down, whichever one I feel like, and just do whatever I feel like doing next. And that will be a demonstration of going with the flow. So we got it? All right. So I made this temporary hanging system with just a copper plumbing pipe and these cords so that I could look at them together. And then over here on this table, I made this way to keep it from sliding off the table, which is some cord that goes on either side of the dowel. And I put this heavy clip so there's some weight to keep it from sliding down. And I put on my fingerless doing art gloves so that hopefully I don't smear anything as I work. So this is autumn, which is maple leaf, and red is the autumn color. There's 4 primary colors, 1 for each season. Autumn is red, and copper is the metal. The element is fire, so there's going to be lightning that ignites a little fire in these maple grove. And so red, copper, fire. So when I see this, what I want is for this maple forest to be more like a river of maple trees. So I'm putting in the trunks first to give the flow. And these maple branches were done with my stencils, which I will, this is my magic stencil box here that has all the categories, so I can go right to branches are here, and I can go right to the maple, the maple got to be delicate with these. So here we have the stencil I used on this side and the somewhat larger, closer to us, that I used on that side. So I love this. It's so much like me that this container that's usually for receipts for tax purposes instead is full of stencil designs. My currency. My favorite currency, creativity. All right, so now we're going to, after we put in the trunks, then we go back and add branches. So I'm going with a shape for this maple grove. And now I'm putting in branches, and the further they are away from the viewer, the smaller the trees appear. So that is an easy way we can create depth. I say a lot that it's very important that we cultivate the relationships in our lives. We treasure those who are supportive, and we love at a distance those who, for whatever of their own personal reasons, can't be supportive and encouraging, because our creativity comes from a very tender and vulnerable place, which is part of what makes it so beautiful. And so we need to be a guardian of our own tenderness by letting those who are kind and gentle with our tender creative spirits into our inner circle where they can really affect us. And those we're not certain of, they're the next ring out. And those that we are sure, because of unkind things they've said or done, can't be trusted with our vulnerability, we love from a safe distance. And hate just takes too much energy. There's nothing good that comes from hating. So I choose to try to find a way to forgive people, no matter how hurt I might have been at the time they say unkind things or do unkind things, because I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be at peace. I don't wish bad things for anyone. I wish everyone to feel peace and happiness. So I deserve to be happy. I think we all start that way, and life disappointments can wear us down, but find those and the things that restore us and fill your life with those, and do the best you can to eliminate the things that drain us. I have a whole bunch of one-liners because most people are in a hurry, feel burdened, busy, don't have enough attention. So I've tried to distill things into one-liners. So don't let the few drain you so the many can't get any. If we don't let those who can't support us take our joy, our hope away, then we have more to give to those who can support us. So now I'm going to now that I've got the trees where I want them, and some of them could already be bare if we choose to let the leaves fall. Yes, there's a comment.
Joni B says, I love how you follow your intuition and quiet confidence while drawing.
Thank you very much, Joni. I always love to feel connected to you and so appreciate you and your support. And it really means a lot to me. And saying that about quiet confidence, we live in a world that's been sexist a long time, but it's bad for the world. It's bad for everybody in it. And in fact, I believe it's the most significant problem we as humanity face is sexism. The reason I say that is that if women are talking confidently, many men and women, young and old, in the studies will say, I don't trust her. If men talk with confidence, well, they can actually be foolish and unintelligent, and we have some examples of that in society, but they can be trusted. So sexism, self-organizing sexism, says women are not supposed to be confident. We're not supposed to share what we know. We're not supposed to make anything about us. But how can we share what we've learned, the beautiful stuff we have to give others, if we're not allowed to talk about the things we've learned, what we've been through, what we've gained by going through it and coming out the other side? So women need to access their confidence and shore each other up. Half of the world is female, and every single human being came through into life on this planet through a woman's body. The lucky ones are also nurtured, literally fed and protected and supported by females. So that half of the world is not treated as equals. Half of humanity may make less money for the same work, have less power, authority, seat at the table, as people like to say, speaks to a broken system. And if women and their nature to be nurturers were more included in the decision making, in the rule making, in the law making, in the system of, what are the circumstances for not following the rules, the laws, the punishment or recompense that's required. If women were more included in that type of decision making, I believe that it would be more balanced. And the world being in balance means there's less war, there's less conflict, there's less degradation of the environment. All good things come from being more balanced, inclusive. So it is my opinion that it's time for it not even to have to be a conversation anymore, for women to get to be themselves and bring their beautiful energy, their loving enlightenment to the world instead of staying behind the scenes, because we as women know if we speak up, we could be punished. And not just by men. Other women can be very harsh, as I've said many times. Women will often, gossip, say unkind things, take it out on other women because they're afraid or of men, or they know men have the power, so they often don't stand up to men who might have more money, legal rights, aggression, weapons, malice. And so they're afraid of men. So the good ones don't take it out on kids, but instead of speaking up and not putting up with it, they may take it out on other women. And that I refuse to participate in. If a woman is unkind to me, I just move away from them hurting me. And I try to treasure the ones that can be supportive of other women, and I try to only and always be supportive of everyone, especially women. And I like to say we have the same amount of DNA with chimpanzees and bonobos. Chimpanzees kill each other. They kill the infants in order to mate with the females. A patriarchal society, and the bonobos, a matriarchal society. Nobody dies. Everybody gets fed. The strongest female is in charge, and nobody starves, nobody dies. It's clearly more harmonious and functional and more pleasant. And so, hey, we have the same amount of DNA with both of those species, in common with both those species. We could choose, and I don't think women should take over the world. I just think they should step up and contribute their beautiful, nurturing, loving natures. And we can be strong and female. I've worked with the longshoremen. I've done many planting trees, painting houses. We don't have to not be strong to be female. We're everything. Like males can be everything. Males can be nurturing, and females can be assertive. The more each of us, male or female, come into our wholeness, embrace our capacity to be full, whole human beings, the better for everybody. So when I'm doing these, I'm just talking what's in my heart and in my mind out loud, instead of just thinking these things. And I've had very validating feedback that it has helped people. And there's really nothing more rewarding than helping people. It also is scientifically proven to be the best remedy for depression, is helping others. So what I feel like I need to do here is put some blue horizon. So I've talked about this before. I like to go back and forth so I don't overdo any one piece. Don't lose perspective. I like to stop and take a distance from it, come back later. So I just feel like this needs some blue at the horizon. And yellow and gold are the summer colors, and metal and grasses, the summer botanical. My mother was always kind and supportive. Even when I doubted myself, which I still do, just like every other human being at times, she would find a way to shore me up, to help me to trust myself and my instincts again. I remember one of my favorite stories of my mother was like me saying to her after she said, "Well, dear, you've got a reason for everything you do." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, well, why'd I do this or why'd I do that?" And, "Well, I don't know, dear, but you've always got a good reason, so you'll figure it out." And actually, what I was speaking of when we had that conversation was in my youth, hitchhiking without a credit card, without a phone, without any weapons, without anyone else, for thousands of miles across the country. And I was doubting myself that it was a smart thing to do. And she said, "Well, you know, you've always got a good reason for what you do." And it took me a long time ruminating on that to realize that I did get molested in my family home, and I was afraid of life and people and the world. And I didn't get molested while traveling without a credit card or a phone, because I learned how to be aware of my surroundings and how to be sensitive to who and what was around me and keep myself safe. And if I hadn't done that adventure that seemed, in retrospect at the time, foolhardy, I wouldn't have learned that I was unsafe in my family home because I couldn't get away from the predators because I was still a child. But when I went out into the world, I could choose to move on, to move away from people that I sensed or ascertained were unsafe, and I could keep myself safe. I do not recommend people, especially females, hitchhike. Don't get me wrong. And I also think that the world has gotten more divisive and dangerous. And so I don't think it's a good idea. And I don't think it's a good idea to travel without backup, a phone, credit card, cash. But I learned that I could keep myself safe, and it gave me confidence, peace, that it wasn't my fault, my doing, that I was unsafe in my family home. That wasn't something until I left my family home at 17. I couldn't get away from the predators that came around when my mother was at work, which she often was with 4 kids she had to support by herself. So the point of all that is being aware, being alert, being willing to get away from dangerous people as soon as we sense danger is what can keep us safe. And unfortunately, not everyone has that in their home as a child, and but we can create that later in life. So there we go for summer. We're just going to do a little bit on each one. And like I've talked about how I like to work in a series for this reason. And then I can step back and is that enough? Or do I want to add more? So here's spring, green, water. Summer was yellow and earth as the element. Spring is green, the primary color, and water. And bronze is the metal. So each season has a primary color, an element, a metal. And so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to hand draw in some more of these iris flowers that are popping in the spring. Don't you just love the colors? It's always, for me, it's like going to, you know, a candy store and picking the candy I want. That's what color is like for me. Okay, so we're going to put in some, and I like to feel the like the blade of grass. It grows, it sprouts, and I like to feel the grass growing energy as I went. And yep, that one has a little personality here.
Well,
Huh?
right. I'll move the camera so it's not behind you.
Okay. And sometimes the wind or whatever gives them a little curve. So now we're going to put in the other side of the blade. And as we know, because we've looked at blades of grass, sometimes they twist, sometimes they turn, sometimes they go sideways, sometimes they go one direction and then the other. Well, they just do all kinds of things. They're free to be a blade of grass. My very first visual art form was Sumi brushstroke. And the very first exercise I did was 5 blades of grass. And each one in this exercise had its own feeling, its own energy. And making each one distinct unto itself was the exercise. And learning to breathe through the stroke. And with Sumi ink, it's very sensitive and it spreads very effectively, especially on this material that is like giclée fabric. That's it is fabric on one side, and the back side has a plasticky coat so that the pigment stays on the surface. And this, you want to tell them about how they can see these tools and materials?
Check out her most recent long form video on YouTube. And it's called the Stencil Magic. And look in the description. You'll be able to see links. I'll put up the name of her YouTube channel, The Creativity Show, on the screen. And for those of you who don't know, it's very easy to make a YouTube channel so that you can like and subscribe and comment and show us some support and let us know you're seeing the videos. So you do have to create a YouTube account. It's just like making a Facebook profile, but way easier. And if you don't know how to do that, just Google how to make a YouTube channel. And it's 4 steps, and they're super easy. So her YouTube channel is The Creativity Show. Handful of you already know that since you're watching from The Creativity Show on YouTube.
And I want to say to each and every one of you, you're why I'm doing this. I do create for my own joy and peace, but I'm sharing it, getting in front of the camera, putting it out there for you. And it really means a lot to me that people have the YouTube subscribers is just keeps ticking up, and that I admit is very gratifying. And I do have a huge ego around wanting to help people. And ever since I was, in my 20s and people asked me to teach creativity, and I wrote a course that I taught to every grade level called Dancing into the Arts. I've seen it help people. I've worked with people in mental health facilities, lawyers, clients in drug court or mental health court, juvenile halls, many places, and it is so deeply rewarding to help people with what has helped me. I love to share this resource we all have within, which is our own creative flow to increase our happiness, the safe and respectful way to express any emotion is through artistic expression. Any emotion we express stimulates our immune system, so it's healing, it's happiness increasing, it's life enhancing. I like to call it righteous resourcefulness. The more we trust our own abilities to enhance our lives and make beautiful homes and work environments and gifts, the lighter we can walk on the earth, good for us and good for the world. All right, so now that's enough of the spring for now. A little bit at a time. I have a policy I call Don't Lose the Light. And it's kind of also refers to the light touch of do a little and step back. And let the story that the painting is telling tell you what it is. So here's winter. The element is air. The primary color is blue. The metal is silver. And so we have the evergreen is the botanical. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have some places where the evergreen forest is very dense, and some places where it's more spread out, spare, because that's the way it happens naturally on the earth. And it's got to do with, well, the nutrients in the soil, the rockiness, the availability of water and light. All those things will determine the growth of the botanicals in that area. So it will be varied. So we're just going to come in here, and I love drawing anything pretty much. well, anything I draw. There are subjects that don't interest me. Violence. I've never gotten into drawing cars or, I'm not into machines. I like nature is my source of sustenance. It's everybody's source. I just stay connected to it being not only the source of life, but the source of great design ideas, the artistic inspiration. So here we have, I usually put in the trunks, and then I come back and fir branch it up. And so the closer to the viewer, the bigger they get. And this branch was done with a stencil that I then came back and embellished with a paintbrush, which we get to do. Sometimes the stencil is like a template, and we then can embellish with pencils or inks or paints. What I use, the acrylic paints, the metallic inks, the Prisma color pencils are all listed in the links if you are interested in seeing those in the description. Is that how we say it? So I speak up what's in my heart and what's in my mind during these live streams, virtual visits, because it makes me feel courageous and like I'm giving what I have that people have told me has helped them and what's helped me. And I'm just a human being, so what's helped me can help others. And as an example of doing that, which I would like to encourage, not exclusively in women, but I would like to inspire, encourage women to speak up and share their wisdom, their experiences, their knowledge, their enthusiasm, their hope for the world, instead of following the broken world rules and always disclaiming ourselves. I don't know, but if you ask me, I'm no expert. If nobody asks me, then no. That's broken world rules. Speak up. Tell us what you know. Share what's helped you. It will help someone else if you share it. If you don't, it can't help anyone. And so that's why I call it self-organizing sexism. If women speak up, they're often put down by other women. And that's that doesn't help anybody. Even the person saying it, how can you be helped? How can that elevate anyone? Help each other, help ourselves to give what's helped us to the world, instead of criticizing. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything is kind of brilliant. There's so many nice things to say. And gossiping is never nice. If someone is dangerous, go ahead and warn people. That makes sense to me, and that there's something positive about it. But gossiping about what someone's wearing or their hairstyle or anything like that it just says that the person gossiping is insecure, and it doesn't help them. It gives you spiritual indigestion. So let's find nice things to say about each other, even if it's challenging. All right, I'm liking the way these trees are kind of like a river of evergreens. And now I'm going to add some blue to that because I want to. That's good enough reason for me. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about giving ourselves permission to be creative is that, hey, we're the one that is doing it, and we're the one that we get to please, gratify with our expressions. We don't have to seek the approval of others. It's really lovely when people appreciate what we do, but it's not necessary. Okay, we're probably going to show the whole thing back up there, and
Good timing since it's one.
huh?
Good timing since it's one.
Oh, is it? Wow, that goes fast. It's amazing how I do step into the flow with when as soon as I start creating, I had no idea an hour just passed. Okay, so we'll just stop there, even though I like to go for about an hour. We could keep going, but then we'll show the incremental progress. And I just realized that this iris is the same stencil I used in the spring painting.
So, nice.
There you go. So here's the stencil used to make fashion and fine art. And my last long video, Magic Stencils, shows hundreds of uses: home decor, tabletop, fashion, fine art, furniture. Yes.
Joni B., thank you for your words of strength and encouragement.
Thank you very, very much, Joni. I really appreciate that. You being here and reflecting each other back to each other. That's how we get stronger. So shall we all find some buddy, and especially for women, some women to shore up today or soon, or often, regularly, and enjoy your creativity, and see you on Thursday at noon. Thanks for being here.
All right, I'm going to go in there and end the stream. I haven't ended it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to just double check Facebook. One
Okay.
second.
Okay, so
Keep signing off.
yeah, so I'm liking how this is going, and I like to build it slowly, enjoy the process. I'm in no hurry. It is stepping into the flow for me when I create, which is something universal. We can all step into the flow, which increases our happiness, and go into that meditative, timeless, no worry place of let's just enjoy the process.
All right, ready when you are.
Okay. Thanks. Stay creative and see ya next time.